amazing, man. Anyways, Access Live is here.
8 and 10.
Let's go.
No worries.
Yeah.
You're here. What's up, man?
Brother.
Yo, there's some crazy stuff happening in the liquidity pools right now.
Oh, let's go. What's going on?
Let's do it.
Yeah, so
our bodies are ready.
Let me see. Let me pull this up here. Snap. Okay, yeah, well, that's first of all, that's a bull flag breakout. With that wick reversal was crazy, and then it took its time getting to the top yellow line, and then once it broke through, like now we're heading straight for 8 cents. So if I pull up the liquidity pools here, there's been new liquidity added between 8 cents and 10 cents effectively. And when there's a big brick of it, it's about 1.4 million hex at 8.5 cents. So I expect a reaction somewhere around 8.5. It can blow through it, and then that can get that hex liquidity can be pulled, and it would turn into USDC, and then it would be pulled off the market. So the kind of range that I'm looking at is 8 to 10 cents here in the next few minutes. Let's see. Yep, chart looks good. On the ETH pair, we had this like clean breakout of this key level here, which was a previous resistance back on February 8th. And then the RSI had a double bottom on this rising trend, and now we've broken the 55 level. So everything's like hyper bullish. Of course, now we have a few days for this trend to continue. Like it doesn't have to stop. So things are looking good in terms of first level of resistance based on what I'm seeing in this particular pool is somewhere around 8 to 10 cents. So that might be the first kind of resistance we see. But it can happen two ways, because when I was looking at the stoplight here, I was actually looking, this was at 90 million hex like an hour and a half ago or 2 hours ago. So now, and then it got trading around 78 million. Well, now all that half of that's already been pulled out of the pool. So there's less than 50 million, which means we're getting really low. You can see the beaker, it's getting super low in terms of hex on market for sale. And as long as people want to squeeze everyone else out of their positions and not sell at this point and wait, for higher prices, then this price can continue to rise on just a scarce asset. Again, this is like basically the same setup we had on the previous run up.
That's sick. And what were you saying? Something was happening in the hex ETH pool too?
Yeah, well, so in the 1% pool, this is USDC. There's nothing out here. Let's see, hex ETH, 3% or 1%. Nothing. I think there's absolutely nothing out here. Let's see if this refreshes. Yeah, so nothing out there. And then on the bigger pool, we're in no man's land. So there's nothing out here. These are like 4 ETH per block. Oh, so wow. What is that? There's just not much there. So the pool I'm looking to key off of here is the USDC 0.3% pool. Mm-hmm. And it looks like somebody set up a block of liquidity here between 8 cents and 9.9 cents. So this is like the new range that we'll try to form some sort of support in as people reaccumulate, sell off, reaccumulate between 8 and 10 cents. Currently, price is sitting at 7.8 cents. It's up 42% in 2 4-hour candles. But yet this is like legitimately, this is like 4 1-hour candles. Let's see here. Switch to the 1 hourly chart. Okay, I'm sorry. So in 1.5 hours, this thing's going up 42%. Let's see here. In terms of volumes, obviously you see here on the bottom, the volume just like shot through the roof. So there was a big sell volume that came in on that original. All right, now we're at 8.1 cents. Even less liquidity. Now this is a good opportunity for like big whales to step in and really mess with the chart, because now we're running low on funds in terms of like hexing the pool, so they can play this game of continually creating this squeeze on the chart. So Candace, there's your signal. We got 8 cents.
Wow.
Yeah, things are looking good for hex right now. Obviously, let's see, if we go to DEX tools, it'd be interesting to see if it's running across the top in terms of the most popular tickers right now.
That's wild, man. Didn't see that coming. Did you see that tweet coming at all? That the tweet Richard Hart said about 7 days. Did you see that coming?
If it was a 50-50 chance, whether it was going to be a stealth launch or not, but I guess we should have known better, right? This is the type of stuff that happens when he lets this happen. Now in the past, I don't know if anyone caught Cryptographics and I stream yesterday, or RHMax and Ju Young from 2 days ago, but we kept talking back on this big payday event here. This is kind of how I see this playing out. Now that we have, just in the same way that the price ran up 600% before big payday, I originally thought that, I'm thinking that's what we're setting up to do potentially. Percent wise, I can't tell you how high, but I thought this might have been the run up we were going to get, but that was testnet v3. Now we have a runway into mainnet. So now we can do it again. I'm super pumped to see, you know. That's why I was, you know, kind of doing these troll tweets on Twitter. I'm like, yo, let's see it happen, bro. Let's get some Godwell action going, right?
That's so sick.
Dude. It's so just to, why are people buying? Like why are they buying right now?
Think of it as like a stock split, right? So if you take, once the fork happens, if you're sitting on stable coins, you might lose 50% of your value immediately, because those stable coins, in terms of ratio tradability, may only be worth 50 cents on the dollar, 25 cents on the dollar. We don't really know. We can only go off what we know from testnet, which was what they traded at, like half the price of a dollar. So the other option you have is to double your hex bags. You'll have liquidity on that chain early with a PHEX, right? That you could then use for optionality in terms of what you want to do. And then you still have your EHEX. So then if EHEX drops in price by 50% after the fork goes live, you're still doing better, because you still have whatever PHEX value is for ratio trading plus 50% of your value in EHEX off this new high that we're going to make potentially, versus still just sitting on a stable coin that's 50% down on the PHEX on the PulseChain side, and then you're waiting for the bridge. So the time element is decaying your purchasing power as people are opportunistically trading ratios before the bridge goes live. So you really, it's a dream here that we're going to get a chance here for people to get, you know, the last bits of the market supply before, you know, it all gets dried up.
Incredible. And on the liquidity side too, I know it's been dropping a lot. Is it, and you touched on that a little bit, but what is it, because it drops so much? Is this easier to do, or how does liquidity play into like what's going on right now?
So this little box here says 45.9 million. That's 45 million hex left in all of the pools combined. And that's significant, because anytime that this gets under 50 million is usually when hex goes parabolic. So that's just like a rule of thumb. You get under 30 million and it's really starting to get into like high wick zones. But then you have to also consult like the pools, and what we're seeing in the pools is like where the liquidity is sitting. So in terms of where it's sitting, it's on this particular pair, it's sitting between 8 and 10 cents. And in terms of how much of that 45 million, it's roughly 300,000 per bar. And if I just do some quick math, there's probably like 45 bars here. So what's 45 times 300,000? So that means that, like, what is this, like 13 to 15 million hex sitting here of the 45 million? The rest of it's sitting on these other pools, but it's behind price. It's not, well, no, it's not, because this is all USDC. So it's just the little bits in front here on this pair, all the way going out here. Let's see, hold on. If I rezoom this, so there's a ton of liquidity going all the way out to like 42 cents. If you measure all of this liquidity going out, but it's very thin. So there's 40 million left, but there's about 15 to 20 million sitting here. So this is really all we have to trade, is like a 20 million batch between 8 and 10 cents. You get through that, and people start pulling their liquidity in the anticipation of the fork, and there's just not going to be anything. So the price can really run up hard if you get to the north side of this liquidity. From reading this from left to right, right?
The other pool that you saw as well, the other Hex USDC pool, how much was in that pool, and what was the price after it got out of that wall there?
So it's sitting on the edge. It's 7.47. So if I refresh now, it's going to be out of it. Yep. Okay. So now it's out of it. You can see it's down here. Total locked in this pool is 4.2 million. I'm sorry, 3.25 million. But obviously, a majority of that is now USDC and not Hex.
Damn, dude.
I don't know. There's just nothing on that pair. There's just some on this pair. Like I was saying, like 20 million, 15, 20 million here. On the actual numbers, if there's 50 bars here, it's like roughly 15 million. Not including this one bar with 1.4 million. So plus or minus a million. And then this pair, let's see. Nothing in front of price. And then the ETH pair has 22,000 hex per bar. That's not much. So what do you have, a few million here?
Jeez, man.
Yeah. And I think what this is it's the ultimate squeeze, right? Richard loves doing this to people, and this is what happens. You know, this is, you know, you mess with the hex chart, especially going into mainnet, you're going to get punked, and that's what we're seeing.
The greenest of candles. It's coming true. Prophecy is coming true.
I mean, and like it's crazy because when you look at the daily here, look at that fucker. That's like non-log. So that's linear chart. Like this is probably the largest candle we've had going back to the DPEG event.
Mhm.
So
trillionaire energy.
The top here.
I see it.
I guess. I'm sorry. The top here was probably the biggest one. Yeah. I mean, that's. So now if what we want to see over the next couple of days is to form support. So like this can probably go even higher and then come back, test this 8-cent level support. Because remember now, if I go back to this pool, we're going to be inside of here, which is the key. We want to be in there and we want to start trading inside of this box. We don't want to leave this box. We want to stay in here for a day, 2 days, and then work our way towards this upper edge as people, traders accumulate this new range, and then we can potentially break out. Any other kind of like enticing tweets that we get from Richard might even push it further. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. Well,
that's what I want to ask you too. What happens now that we know when PulseChain is going to launch? What changes? What do we know now that can factor into decisions?
So the way I look at it is, again, here we are, big payday all over again. So now we have to look at potential resistance levels because, you know, what do you think if you're RH right now, you're going to wait until we can get it as high as we can get it, in my mind. Give us 7 days, get it the price as high as. So, man, I don't know. And then after the fork, you know, I would expect a sell-off. So, but you won't see a sell-off till after the fork happens, right? So it's the ultimate squeeze. Like, anybody that tries to play it the wrong way is going to get left behind because there's nothing in these pools. If I refresh again, we'll see what we're sitting at. So we're still at 45 mil. Actually, this doesn't update instantly, so that might be why this isn't even giving me an update yet. We might need those 1 second updates, Crispy Man, if you're watching.
I haven't seen him in the chat, but could somebody alert Crispy Man? He could be helpful right now.
Let's go to this chart and see what we got. So this is the uniswap.info website, right? Let's see, HEX. Dang. TVL. This might give us an indicator. So we've seen this huge spike in TVL. So this spike in TVL it's USDC and ETH being put in the pools, and HEX is getting taken out. That's what's happening here. Let's see, volume, 24-hour volume. Okay, our volumes are coming up too now. So these were sitting between 2 and 5 million for the 24-hour window for each one of these pools for days now. It's been a slow grind downwards and just not a lot of volume coming in, but now it's starting to flip the other way. Let's see. Dang, price is going higher, man. We're at 8.6 cents. So we could potentially go hit the top side at 10 cents any minute. That's how fast this is happening. Let's see on the 15-minute chart. Remember, this is where we're heading. 9.9 cents is the edge of the liquidity. We're only 15% away, so we want to see trading inside of these blue bands. So a lot of times you'll see price come up to the 10-cent level, a sell-off occurs, you create a bull flag, breakout potentially on anything that Richard says, potentially another bull flag, and then, you know, mainnet's going to happen in 23 hours, and then you get this last leg up, potentially something like that. And it's so parabolic right now. It can really do anything. These volumes are insane. Like we had 400K, 400K, 800K, $1.5 million, $1.4 million. So we'll have to just see how this plays out. This is a good level here. This is a good level to pause in my mind, but I can't really predict what's going to happen here. The market's kind of going to decide.
Where does it go? And we're like, that's, you know, we expect a dump afterwards. Like, where is that healthy range for it to go right now?
Let's see.
If we go to 20 cents, you know, that doesn't seem sustainable. But
we'll use the good old fib retracement. Extend lines. Let's use one color so it's easier to read. All right, so the first level here is 14 cents. So the old high, right? But again, that's based on the Fibonacci levels, right? Is that it's saying, because look, we found support here and bounce off that wick, right? And then the candle formed on the new day, and now this can go over the next day or two can go all the way up to 14-ish cents, which is near that high with 12.5, and on some charts it was 13.5. And then we also have to consult the famous fair value channel, right? That I coined. Let's go. Something like this. So, you know, where's that put us at? Somewhere around, oh, funny enough, it's right around that 14.2 cents if it goes straight up. So I'm looking for the price to at least come up to here. No promises, but that's what it's looking like, because we've already regained almost half the move, right? Off that low, you're up 66%. So what do you have to do to get there? Another 75%. You've already done half of it in 2 hours. So the shortage of coin is really what's going to put the pressure on those who want to chase. And traders love chasing this type of shit because this is confirmation in so many ways of a good trade. On this 15-minute, you look at the breakout, the bull flag. Look at that. Like, that's a bull flag between these yellow channel, and then breakout. Bam, you're up. We're getting some good sell pressure coming in right now. Looks like 1.75 million, 1.725 million traded on this particular 15-minute candle. So this is like we'll see how this plays out. This is a doji. This is 15 minutes. This is really short time frame. So there's none of this shit holds a lot of weight when shit's going parabolic. But I just want to try to, up to the second, kind of explain what's going on. Remember, we're above 8 cents now, which is where our liquidity is sitting here. So this is what we're looking to trade inside of. If you fall back below 8 cents, you're back in like the super thin liquidity, and it's just as easy to push price back up because there's this gap here, right here, where there's just a little bit less to push it right back up into that. So I expect 8 cents to act like a magnet for now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you think that we get above 10 cents, we come back down until liquidity resets, or do you think we could have, or is it likely that people, when we run up maybe like, if we, let's say 14 cents hits, do you think it's volatile, comes back down to find 10? Or do you think that the providers plop something up there, catch it?
The first time that we come up, this is already showing signs of weakness here because this has been such a good run so quickly. So we'll see maybe if it gets like a spike down here, and then I anticipate someone's going to absorb it quickly, right? Anything that comes, this is like a confirmed breakout on the bull flag, right? So then to answer your question, when we do finally get to start form support above this level, in terms of the 14 cent level, what exactly was it again? Like how do we come back? Like when we hit 10 cents, the real question is, do we go right for it, or do we wick? Remember, like we can get wicks like this, and we'll just be trapped underneath because there's no liquidity out there. You know, so nobody's going to want to buy this unless they have no other choice. They'd rather just let the sellers keep the price trapped between 8 and 10 and accumulate. So it'll be this back and forth where this will go down to 20 million, then back up to 50 million, then down to 20 million, back up to 50 million. It'll be like it becomes a trader's paradise because it becomes a very volatile range which can be traded. But then, yeah, so what we're going to need to see is full-on FOMO to push price above 10 cents, where people are buying at any price because they want it before the fork, or you just will get snapped out and you'll just come back and be trapped in here leading into the fork, and then that was when the sell-off would occur. So a couple different ways it can play out.
What are you guys going to be doing in the next 7 days?
Look at that. Look at this. These things are printing down, and then they're printing right back up. Like, this is in a really volatile range. It's like we're talking 2% moves. That's pretty big, man. Like, these 0.2 of a cent. This is what Johnny Chaos always talks about, is how when the thing really starts to create a new value zone, like what in the future, like when we're trading, like just like how Bitcoin used to trade dollars a day, then it did tens of dollars a day, then it did hundreds of dollars a day, and then now thousands of dollars a day. The dream when it was at 3,200 in the basement of 2018, to see $10,000 moves in a week was like the dream, right? And I predicted that. And of course, it's not rocket science. It's how the decimal places move over time as the market matures and grows. And I expect to see that kind of thing as HEX really goes like viral, I guess. Where these tenths of a cent, they just don't matter anymore, and people are going to buy at any price.
I mean, even already we're recovered back up to like 8.2. We kind of crushed down to the bottom of 8. Now we're already moving back up. Like you're saying, that's crazy.
1 to 2 tenths of a penny is now happening constantly.
Yeah. Man, it's gonna be. You know, I'm realizing too. This is like a historic moment here. You know, when we caught it all on live stream. We're streaming. Richard Hart's tweet goes down. This is a pretty cool moment. Not gonna lie, that we all get to be a part of this.
Dude,
watch this go down.
What's the chance that we just did streams together,
Literally,
and now we're all together?
I was thinking about that.
Monday,
me and Axis on Monday, you two yesterday, and us 3 today.
So sick.
I know
there are no accidents. You're just on time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's true.